Okay, so for this video, I'm inside the caboose at the park outside in the center of Collierville. So I'll let you get a little bit of a glimpse of where I am and just take a look. And I just like to find interesting places to do these videos so that they're not monotonous to look at. Hopefully they're not too monotonous to watch as far as content, but it's just kind of neat. We're inside of the caboose, right? How neat is that? Today we're talking about Daniel 4. Daniel 4 and Daniel 5 go together. They're about two different kings, each who have a dream they can't interpret, and they have to go to Daniel. Daniel interprets both these dreams. They're very similar in nature, and they have very similar interpretation. So the first dream, Daniel chapter 4, King Nebuchadnezzar has a dream of a great and mighty tree that grows up and it provides shade for all the world, until the men of the field come and decide to chop this tree down and to humble it and to topple it. And the king's disturbed by this tree. And Daniel has to interpret it, and its interpretation is tied to something we discover about humankind back in Genesis chapter 1. In Genesis chapter 1, humankind is to rule in the place of God. We are to rule with God. We're to co-reign in this world. And when we do, the reign of God is extended. And when we do that, we not only reflect God's image into the world, but when we do that, we are most fully human and most fully alive. But human rulers can also rule and reign and exercise power in a way that diminishes God's glory, diminishes the image of God. And when we do, we risk becoming less human, more beast-like, more evil, more demonic. And so King Nebuchadnezzar is shown this dream that though he is powerful, though it seems to have all the authority in the world, that how he reigns, how he exercises this power matters, and God warns him that he's not to misuse his power. And so God gives Nebuchadnezzar an experience of being like a beast where he loses his mind for a time, and the result is Nebuchadnezzar humbles himself and begins to use his authority in a way that's more in line with God. Now, the next dream that happens in chapter 5, the exact opposite happens. Rather than that king humbling himself, he flaunts his power all the more and becomes all the more arrogant, resists God, and becomes, as a result, he crashes and burns, right? And his authority is taken away from him. And all of this is not just so much about these two men, but it is about the way human beings exercise authority and about what we do with that authority. And it is a reminder that we are not the ultimate authority, that ultimately God will hold all humanity accountable. He'll call all of us to account. He will ultimately judge all of us. And it may seem that in our lifetime we get away with being arrogant or powerful or a bully or abusive of power. Ultimately, no one in light of eternity gets away with that kind of thing forever. And that's a warning, because for example, it seems, really that Pol Pot and Chairman Mao and Stalin and others, are able to abuse power all of their lives and never be held accountable. But in light of eternity, that is simply not true. They will be held accountable, and their actions will be brought before the authority of God, before the judgment throne of God. Now, most of us are not going to have anywhere near that kind of authority entrusted into our hands. Maybe the extent of our authority is we are given a family, or we're given a classroom, or we're given a boardroom, or we're given a business, or we have authority in the church. No matter what level of authority we're given, we're to exercise that authority. We're to exercise that authority in such a way that the reign of God is shown, that the character of God is shown. Go ahead. let that truck get past. And when we use that authority otherwise, when we use that authority in such a way that we diminish the glory of God, or we point people in the wrong direction, we just need to know that we will be held accountable. Jesus said, to whom much is given, much is expected. And with those of whom even a little bit is entrusted, if they use it well, if they steward it well, they will be trusted with even more.